Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Innovate and Caffeinate. We're glad that you could join us today. Also, hello to our friends in Murray, Callaway County and in Hopkins County. We always appreciate the Hopkins County Innovation Station and West Kentucky Rise and Murray State. Thank you so much for all that you do in partnering with us. We're excited about today and to have our guest with us because she is a Christian County Hoptown girl. Sarah Whitaker is the owner of Williams Advertising, a full-service marketing agency that specializes in custom branded merchandise. She is a graduate of Murray State University with a bachelor's in marketing and a master's in business administration. Sarah's marketing experience includes a start in small business marketing, 5 years corporate marketing and business development for an international relocation company. And for the last 5 years, she's been back in Christian County, Hopkinsville, where she is leading Williams Advertising. She's also been very involved with our chamber, having graduated through Leadership Hopkinsville and was the first chair of our Young Professionals group. Of course, she's really got a great story, and I'm excited for her to be here today. When I was at the chamber the first time in military affairs, I worked with her grandfather and would order things from him, and then left for a while and came back. And when I did, Williams Advertising had a fresh new look and a fresh new face, although still very much that family owned business. So we're going to turn it over to Sarah and let her tell you a little bit about her journey and all that she does with Williams Advertising.
Thanks, Kelly. I'm not sure if I'm on here quite yet. I'm going to share okay, I am. Thanks, Melanie. Technical difficulties here. Okay, I'm going to share with you all my screen here and just have a couple slides to go along with what I'm going to talk about today. Everybody can see that, hopefully. Okay. Hi, I am Sarah Whitaker, owner and client success manager for Williams Advertising. Like Kelly mentioned, Williams Advertising was started in 1985 by my grandfather, Doug Williams. He's been selling promotional items in the Hopkinsville area ever since then. I moved back to Hopkinsville in 2015 and I added the marketing division. And then I've also been shaking up the promotional products side of the business too since then. On that marketing side, we primarily help small businesses in our region with their marketing. And then on the branded merchandise side of the business, we help businesses of all sizes everywhere with their branded merchandise. So a lot of times we serve as an outside marketing team, for smaller local businesses that prefer to either outsource some or all of that function. We do social media management, we do content development, graphic design work. We help create logos, set brand standards for companies. We help with media, community relations. We build websites, SEO, digital marketing, you name it. Then within our branded merchandise division, we can customize absolutely anything. We handle everything from the creative ideas all the way through fulfillment with our merchandise. And we really try to work with companies to align their merchandise that they purchase with their marketing efforts to, make it most impactful. That's where we can be the most valuable, is when we marry up that marketing agency side with our merchandise and really make great custom items for people. Our capabilities on the promo side include promo items, merchandise, printing, apparel. We do online stores, custom gifts. We run loyalty programs, incentive programs, either for salespeople, customers, that sort of thing. We build brand boxes, and we can make wholly custom items, that we design from scratch. So I was asked to share my story. I graduated from Murray State in 08, go Racers. If you'll remember, 08 was not the best year for business. So immediately I didn't find a job, and I decided it would be best to stay, got my MBA. And then I started working there in Murray for a local textbook company and doing some marketing for a couple retail stores. Then my husband and I moved to Evansville, Indiana, where I worked for Atlas Van Lines. They're headquartered there in Evansville. And I started there in corporate marketing and went on to lead a customer service team for relocations. And then I was in a business development role for the move management company there as well. So we were in Evansville about 5 years, and we just decided that we missed home. So we moved home, and I began the marketing division for Williams Advertising, and I began learning about the promotional product side as well. Fast forward to now, I co-own the company with my grandfather, who just celebrated his 89th birthday. And if he hasn't contacted you yet about your calendar order this year, he will be. So I also have another title, and that's mom to my 3-year-old daughter, Ellery. So When Kelly asked me to come on and talk today, I thought really the most timely thing to talk about right now would, to an audience that is either starting businesses, thinking about starting businesses, would be marketing in the current climate that we're dealing with. It's definitely an interesting time to be a business owner, certainly. We've been taking time over the last couple months to really reevaluate, what we're doing, how we're doing it, and really try to use the time to make sure that we're exactly who we want to be on the other side of this. I heard a quote the other day that I really liked. Sam Walton once said, "I was asked what I thought about the recession. I thought about it and decided not to take part." So how great is that? We may not in this moment be able to feel so sure about that, but I strongly believe that you speak your dreams into existence, and positivity, and mix that with planning for things leads them to happening. So with that in mind, whether you are in business already or thinking about starting one, I just wanted to share 4 things to revisit with your marketing right now, no matter what your situation is. So the first one would be to examine your business, your product, your service. I feel like we've really been given an extra minute here to step back, evaluate if what we're actually doing still achieves that same mission that we set out to, and if we're doing it the best that we can. Joe Rogan said that in life, we can distort our perception of things in order to make ourselves more comfortable, in order to make ourselves accept where we are. So if you would prefer to have business growth, you must examine your business idea with honesty right now, and look at it from the filter of the pandemic and what this has put on things. I think everybody can do that right now. If it's retail, can you grow your business right now by offering online? Maybe that's going to reach new customers. Maybe it's giving ease of access to your current customers and developing that market. Restaurants, maybe it's taking a minute and making sure everything that you're offering is profitable. It's something you like offering. Service businesses, maybe it is possible that demand is shifting your business to market things you can do slightly differently. True story. I just bought a building in downtown Hopkinsville, and we moved in January of 2020, the year that's determined to test small businesses everywhere, right? We have this great little space that's perfect to open up a little retail spot, which is very different. We work business to business, and I've always thought it would be a great spot to do some of the fun things we can do on products, some of the design ideas we have. And then Corona. That forced me to look at our core business and really refocus our efforts in our marketing division to help clients market their businesses, sell their items. In our promotional products division, we're really helping people with PPE. We're producing hand sanitizers, masks. We can provide the barriers and the communication pieces to keep people safe. This is where our efforts are essential in this time for my customers, as well as for our bottom line. We've taken the time to actually change our internal operating systems, not something that I would want to do during normal course of business. And we've really honed in on our marketing materials and our core competencies. So I still hope to get back to that other idea, but just kind of having a moment to refocus here. So I think it's just important to ask yourself if everything's headed in the direction that you want, and kind of evolve that business model as needed for that. The second thing I would say is evaluate or create a customer needs analysis. So you have to identify your customer needs in order to market successfully, right? Your marketing really should always come from that place of what does the customer need? But it's easier, it's tempting even to just say, I have product XYZ, look at how great that is. But really looking at everything from your customer needs as a first step and working on your marketing from that standpoint right now. Certainly your world has changed, but so has your customers. Do you have your customers and their characteristics already defined? When we're working with clients, we really like to group customers into different personas and communicate with each of those groups, making sure our content plans and our messaging really focus on that. We'll revisit the content planning here in just a little bit on that, but just a first step, making sure you have that done. Then assuming you know that about your customers, have their lives changed? I mean, of course they have. Everybody's lives have changed right now. So what do they need? How has their buying behavior changed, or their decision-making process, their timeline to buy? How has that changed how they interact with your business? I think sometimes it's going to be evaluating whether your pre-COVID customer types are still your customers going forward. Maybe you even have new customers that COVID's opened the door to. Another real life example on that, we have 2 food-based clients that we work with that have seen huge growth during COVID. So much so that they have to now go back and reevaluate who their customers are and try to anticipate that need going forward. They're reaching new customers because of all of this, and now they've got to figure out how to fulfill demand, continue to provide that service, and then try to project what business looks like on the other side of this. For our own business, our customer marketing budgets have changed. Event plans have been canceled, and it impacts really how we're able to help our customers, but we have to know them, understand their needs, and figure out how to make sure we're helping them meet those needs. That's something that whether you're B2B, B2C, that you share in common right now, and it's something that could be worked on. I think if you're in the beginning stages of your planning, it's just a good time to think about your plan for crisis and non-crisis. The third thing I would mention would be to do a marketing cleanup. We're in a world right now where we've shifted to contactless and digital consumption now more than ever. So I think if it's time to examine your brand through that lens and figure out how you look. The first thing would be, how does your home on the web look? I'm talking about your website. I want to focus on this for a second because I think sometimes it's easy for businesses, especially when you're in startup mode, to skip right over that step and think, okay, there's free tools out there. There's things that are just quick and easy. But my piece of advice would be to claim your space on the web, the moment that you decide your business's name. If you leave your business up to companies like Facebook, who I love, Facebook gods, if you're listening, or Google, and thinking you're good to use that as a landing page, just know that you don't own anything. I think maybe it was a few months ago last year when Facebook went down for a day and it was just mass panic, right? That could happen at any time. So tech platforms don't consult you on those kind of things. They're going to have downtime, algorithm changes, and that will impact your business. So while it's a good thing to be there, definitely don't rely on that as your sole home on the web. And while outside advertising services are certainly wonderful for reaching new audiences, I wouldn't just rely on outside services to carry your message. You want to cultivate your own customer base and own it from day one. That's your property. So if you don't have a MailChimp account or something similar, that's just what we use a lot of times for our clients. Go sign up right now and make sure you have a way to capture your leads, even if you're not reaching out to them right in this moment, but just own that data and have that capability from day one. So on the web though, did you identify that maybe customers would like to shop from your product from home back when you were thinking about that? Many tools are really easy out of the box and they don't require a custom build or anything like that. So now is a good time to think about making that a priority to generate revenue. Again, making everything social media based to buy is just a little risky. So there are plenty of tools to help with that. And then another thing to consider is how easy it is to find directions to that home on the web. So I'm talking about whether you're coming up on first page results right now. Are your directions clear and easily consumable? Are your hours edited? Are you sharing COVID related updates? Right now is time to make sure that anything off your site is accurately representing your business. SEO, search engine optimization, is important, and it's always changing, and it's definitely a long-term game. So it might be time to look into some search ads and some targeting if your organic presence isn't exactly where you want it, or if you need to shift who you're reaching right now. Can you, does your home have the coolest party? Have you invited the right people? I'm really going with this home analogy here. So this is where we need to think about our content planning. Content planning is my favorite thing to talk about, really. I love it. For a whole bunch of effort up front, it really pays dividends for your business. Communication is huge right now. So if you're in business or if you're in marketing right now, you already understand that you need to be on social media. You need a blog on that website that you all have. You need videos, all of that. It's kind of daunting though to tackle all of that, especially when you're running that business day to day. So that's where content planning comes in and really helps. Breaking down, referencing back those customer types that I talked about before, going back and making sure that, each day you're hitting those different customer types and you're talking to them. You know, I think the thing about social media that we often forget too is that we're engaging with people. You know, they're on social media to interact with people, and so making sure that your content is engaging and communicating with, and then mixing it all up is great. And then when I say content planning, I don't just mean social media. You know, coordinate your email message, your blog posts, and your social media. We use Trello a lot. That's a tool that we find helpful for content planning when we're doing content management for clients. It just really helps map everything out across platforms, get your messaging, you know, do that on target dates. It just really helps everything organize really well. And then once you've come up with that content, make sure that you've got some great graphics, some photos, or some video with that content. You want to make sure your visual representation reflects the customers that you want to have. They need to see themselves within your marketing. We have a client that's a tourism attraction. When we did an audit of the prior year's marketing, we noticed that the photography left out a key age demographic that was important for them. So we got new photography, we showcased that group, and now that target group sees themselves enjoying everything that the business has to offer once we do reach them. I like to save everything out in a file and post in the moment, or go ahead and use a scheduler. Facebook has some really great creator tools inherent to the platform. If you're doing multi-platform, Hootsuite's really great. Speaking of multi-platform, now I want to back up for a second. When you're initially setting up your business or thinking about all your communication channels, don't be tempted to be all things to all people. I think it's very important to pick the very most relevant for your customer base and own it first, and then grow. It's fine to, you know, I would suggest even claiming your name on everything, but don't necessarily have to manage it full out. A lot of people will by default pick Facebook, but maybe, you know, maybe you're a service business to other businesses, and LinkedIn would be more beneficial for your time. So you just really have to kind of weigh what is right for your specific business and your customer. So I know that is a lot of content, but just as you're thinking about business growth in the current climate, you know, it's a few steps to take. Examine that business model, see what tweaks you can make. I feel like something that we're all juggling is real life and work-life balance right now, which everyone has a little more understanding with that, which I hope we keep, by the way. And so, you know, you have a minute here still, I think, to take a look at all of this. Look at your customer needs, do that marketing audit, and then take some time to content plan based on everything that you've kind of done through that. I think that we're going to open it up for questions. But if you have any questions about your specific business, you know, please feel free to reach out.
Great, Sarah. Thank you so much. So we do have a few questions. They're rolling in right now.
Okay.
The first one is you touched on something important, that you graduated during a downturn in the economy. Now you're going through this again in a much bigger scale, and taking time to reevaluate each situation. I think that's very important. Something that you touched on about that. Do you think now is a prime time to take a like you said, take a self look, evaluate what you're doing? But will marketing, would it be more important now than ever? Because as competitors are going to want to try to make up those lost sales. What advice would you give to those who are really not sure how to redo themselves?
Yeah, and I think even probably a month ago, even I was in this place of, you know, it doesn't feel appropriate even to be salesy, marketing, that sort of thing. But at this point, you know, I think people are ready, especially, especially if you find that need and figure out who you're marketing to. But I think people want to support the business. You know, I think it's just time to get out there and make sure. I mean, at this point, I don't know that you have an alternative. I think it's time to really get out there and go for it. And I think too that very often we feel like that, you know, maybe we've put something out there. You put something out there one time and that's good, but I think you have to communicate and assume people don't really know. I think something else that's very important is make it easy for them to support you or find the information. You know, if you're posting a order curbside, you know, that sort of thing, and you don't put your phone number in that post, you know, you've missed an opportunity to give them everything they need. So I think just over communicating right now is essential.
Absolutely. We did have one question, you know, with it being a family business, and oftentimes that's got its own set of challenges. What did you learn, or what was maybe some challenges or things that you overcame or learned along the way from transitioning from your grandfather to you?
I think one of the funniest things that I have to share about that is, So when I came in, it's funny now that we're an internet company, we use the internet every day in everything that we do. And of course, he was very paper-based, is very paper-based in everything that he does still. And so he said, I had a customer ask if we had a website today. And I told him, heck no, we don't have. And I said, granted, we build websites for people now, So I think just, that kind of generational thing. I think something that is important is making sure that you balance correctly when you're having personal family discussions, that it doesn't always involve work too. I think balancing that is an interesting mix too. So, so my grandfather, of course we work together, but then my mom also, she handles our books and our operations and everything else. So it's definitely that balance.
You talked about work-life balance, and that is always a big topic, especially for moms, working moms. It's a new set of challenges. What have you learned, not only maybe some advice or guidance you can give as being a working mom, but now you've added this COVID piece on top of it. Many of us are working from home. All of us, I think, who are helping or coordinate this call have little ones that sneak in the office. So how has that changed Williams Advertising, or even you?
Yeah. I had one conference call where I was that BBC dad, where she came running through, and it's been interesting. I think we've just all been flexible in everything. And I think that that's the great thing about, I guess I have just the best clients because everybody's been so understanding. I think it really just across the board, it has brought this understanding that we all have things going on. So we can schedule around, we can do Zoom calls. I think that that's something, I hope that's something that stays, that understanding that it's not always, so focused in that we all are balancing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's a challenge for sure. I think we're going to all learn a little bit. We're getting more done. When we sent a survey out during the whole COVID to get a kind of a feel of what our businesses were going through, what they needed the most, how could we help the most. And one thing that popped up was that many businesses want to make sure that the customers, we have to earn their trust back a little bit, make sure that they are comfortable. So marketing, is that a tool that could be used to help bring that piece, make people feel more comfortable about going out and shopping or eating, and then the same with the business side to bring their customers back inside the store?
Yeah, I think so. I know here in downtown Hopkinsville, a few of our businesses, a few of our restaurants are doing outdoor seating. So, snapping a picture of how far apart those tables are and that same great service is out there. I think posting about what you're doing, we have a tourism attraction that I mentioned that they just opened up, and they have sanitizer everywhere, and just by the nature of it being outside and wide open spaces, I think all of those things will help.
Have you had a lot of conversation, or are you finding people taking advantage of the PPE and wanting to brand it their own way, the masks or whatever coming to you, and there's a whole new line of things people might be ordering now?
Yeah, I think the big one is hand sanitizer still. We have a couple of local and I'm sure regional distilleries that have been cranking out the hand sanitizer, and that is wonderful. And I think the one thing that people can't find is the little bottles. Last week I actually was able to find some finally, and that was huge, because it's something that's going to be on every single desk. It's going to be something that, especially right now, while it's still a little bit hard to find, it's something that you can give to customers as they're walking in. That's just, hey, we're thinking about you. We know that this is a need kind of thing. And so that's just a nice thing to do. And certainly the masks, that's a big one. And even signage, signage is one that I don't think I mentioned, but it's so important, again, communicating on site with people. Hey, we're open, or hey, here's the decal that marks off. I mean, you have no idea how helpful it is in a store to see, okay, this is how far I need to be back. It really is helpful. So yeah, that's been great. It's been great to be able to be a source for some of those things. If you had told me a year ago that I would be trying on mask samples to tell you what fits best and what's most comfortable and breathable, I would have never thought that. So.
Right. And we all used to get sanitizer at different events we go to and probably threw them away or maybe didn't do anything with them. And now they're like gold. So it's amazing how things can change so quickly like that, something that wasn't that popular. And now, of course, with the mask, we want to make sure we're fashionable as well.
Right.
Gotta do it right.
Right.
Real quick, last question. So is there something that you all are changing for your company as well? Not only the advice that you're giving to others that are looking to remarket or rebrand, but what about for you all? I know that there's been a change in what people may be ordering from you, but from your standpoint as your business owner, what has been the biggest change for you?
I mean, I really think our operating, so I mentioned that we switched over operating systems. It's something I have been looking at for a really long time, but it's just something that will allow our customers to, it gives everybody a portal to check in on their jobs when they're working with us. It allows us to display things a little bit more user friendly. It kind of just looks more like what we are. We're tech friendly, you know. So that is huge for us because we feel like that's an added value in working with us. So we're changing that. Certainly, we're working on making sure that we're a bit more responsive and getting things turned around. Just trying to up our customer service game always. That's been our biggest shift, and then changing some of our marketing to make sure that people know the things that we can do.
Wonderful. And so everyone who has participated on this live, will keep this video up because I think it's important to think about several things. I mean, Sarah's a great resource in the family business and how that transition works, you know, operating a small business herself. And then also she's a great resource for how do you as a business owner or working at a company can look at how do you get back out there and rebrand yourself, remarket yourself, what do you need to change? So Sarah did put all her information up there, but if anyone else wants to reach out to her, we'll be sure to put that out information on our Facebook pages, all of them. So Sarah, thank you so much for your time today. It was great to have you on. You've done so great in this community, and I know everyone's appreciating all the help that you've been able to provide all of our small businesses. So thank you for being a part of that.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Well, next week, our friends in Hopkins County, they will have a special guest. So you're going to want to turn in. Little coffee this morning. Tune in next week. It's always going to be here virtually on our Facebook pages. You can look at the Christian County Innovate and Caffeinate page, the Hopkins County or Murray Callaway County Innovate and Caffeinate pages. They're going out to all three. And we will continue to do this virtually as long as we can until we're all meeting back together. Again, I want to thank our friends in Hopkins County and Murray Callaway County, West Kentucky Rise and the Innovation Station. Thank you so much for all that you do. And we appreciate again, Sarah and Williams Advertising for joining us today. Thank you again and enjoy a cup of coffee and the rest of your day.